Hi class, my name is Likia Flores and my partner is Luis Quiroz, and we are doing the intellectual disability for our disability presentation. So what is intellectual disability? Intellectual disability is when children have problems with their mental abilities, and it includes two different areas, which are the intellectual functioning, which that includes like learning, problem solving, or like judgment that they have, and the second one, which is the adaptive functioning, which that is how they communicate in their life, how if they are going to be independent or not. So that has to do with them personally. And then this disability only affects 1% of the population, and males are more likely to be diagnosed with it than females. It it also begins in the early developing period of their lives. So they are still going to be, maybe they can be detected with it even before they're born, or it can also be detected like up to their 18 years of life. So what are the characteristics? So the characteristics of this disability um have to do with what they can do and what they can't do. So they can sit up, crawl, or walk later than other children. They can learn to talk later than other children, or also have trouble speaking, as well as maybe they don't have a good memory, so they have a hard time remembering things. They can have trouble understanding social roles, as well as what actions and how that those actions may affect others or themselves as well. They have difficulty to learn and difficulty processing information, so this makes it like really hard for them to be living on their own. So they do need the help of their parents and teachers and everyone in their lives. How is it diagnosed and what are the causes? So this can be this disability can be caused by problems that start before they are born. So when they are still in the womb, um with their moms, or also it can be caused later in their life as well. So it can be caused by injuries, diseases, problems in the brain, or sometimes it is unknown the reason why they might have it. And then it is diagnosed. Before, it would used to be diagnosed by an IQ test that they would do on the kids, but now they just have a test that determines their IQ, and the IQ score for kids that do have the disability varies from 70 to 75. So as you can see, it is very low. I also did some research, and some of the kids, depending on how bad they have this disability, they can have a low IQ of like even 25%. So that would be, but it's very rare to see that kids have it this low. And then I just wanted to talk about the difference between autism and intellectual disability, because it's very common to confuse the both of them. So some of the differences between these two disabilities is that autism is a mental state which appears from early childhood by a massive difficulty in communicating, interacting, and forming relationships with other people, while intellectual disability has to do with how they act, how they learn, how they walk. So it is very different, because children with autism don't have like they have a they don't have a decreased cognitive functioning system. So um the intellectual disability children do have adaptive function. Their adaptive function is affected, as well as their intellectual functioning. So it is very difficult for them to do anything, whereas children with autism can do things by themselves. And it is and then the intellectual disability affects the children's cognitive functioning.
So the Individual with Disabilities Education Act is a law that makes available a free appropriate public education to eligible students with disabilities throughout the nation and ensures special education and related services to those children. So every children with intellectual disability has an IEP, and it describes the children's unique needs and services that have been designed to meet those needs. So these programs help the students with disabilities get the necessary education they need. Areas where the student might have trouble with is difficulty in developing social and communication skills. So oftentimes students with intellectual disabilities can't form those. They have also increased time needed for cognitive processing of tasks or new learning material. They also have difficulty in understanding new or different information. They also have difficulty in understanding or comprehending concepts that are abstract or different than they're used to. They also have a difficult time processing information sequentially. So, too much information at a time, they feel overwhelmed and overloaded. How we could aid students with intellectual disabilities is by forming a progressive teaching. So, progressive teaching is focusing on one task at a time and not moving on until the student has fully completed the first task, like the teacher asked. Another way we could aid students with intellectual disabilities is physical practice. Most intellectual disability students are kinesthetic learners, so they want to be able to practice in physical form what they're the concept that they're talking about, like gravity, letting them focus on the actual dropping a ball and seeing how where the ball goes and explaining that that's the form of gravity and how it works. We should also could provide visual aids. These visual aids help gather the concept if they can associate with the topic with an image. So most of the time we could do a video or an image and discuss how these correlate with what we're trying to be teaching them. And immediate feedback, so students get a better understanding when the teacher corrects their mistakes right away and they are more vigilant of those mistakes because they know what to be looking out for at that time and understand what the teacher is asking for. And then classroom accommodations that the teacher can make to help these students with intellectual disabilities is giving the students extra time to complete assignments and tasks. So allowing them a couple more minutes to actually comprehend and further understand what they're being asked. We could also change the setting for the students. So incorporate a small group work or a partner so students don't feel like they're doing this by themselves or they feel overwhelmed by themselves. Also, the materials provide a copy of the notes or fill in the blank notes. So this allows the students to be going with the topic and understanding the lesson, but still not be focusing on writing everything down that they need to. Also, a teacher could aid the students by breaking down their instructions into parts and allowing tutoring and peer partners. So if one student doesn't understand, the other student could maybe clarify a little aspects to them. And allowing students response allows students to respond orally or on a computer. So not just be writing stuff down, to be also communicating what they understand and what they don't understand. Also, a teacher could provide a quiet space for students studying and helps them acknowledge that what they are supposed to be concentrating on and not playing around. So they are able just to concentrate on what they're being asked and different approaches to a similar topic. So just a teacher could construct a lesson plan where there's multiple ways of addressing one single topic. So a student, if they don't understand one way, they have multiple ways of understanding the same topic. And also just allowing patience again for the students because most of the time they're difficult topics for them to understand and comprehending is where they have the most difficulty time. So just allowing them more time to get a better understanding of what the question is asking. And that's how teachers could aid students with disabilities. And this is our works cited. Thank you.